You're in the water loop.
Welcome to Waterloop. I'm Travis, here with Aaron Adams and Nicole Baker from Net Your Problem. Aaron and Nicole, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having us, Travis.
Thanks, Travis.
Congratulations to Net Your Problem for being one of the 10 finalists in the solution search, looking for solutions to water pollution and using behavior change as a way to do that. Nicole, could you summarize your solution in about a minute?
Yeah, so our mission is to engage a variety of stakeholders and partners to create an economically viable pathway to recycle end-of-life fishing gear. So we're trying to improve waste management, contribute to the circular economy, reduce energy use and greenhouse gas emissions related to producing virgin plastic. So basically what we do is collect old fishing gear from fishermen when they're done using it with the intention of recycling it. But we also try to create demand for the processed plastic and then promote the products that are eventually made from it. So it's not just about the supply of that plastic, but what it gets turned into eventually. We need to create demand for those products to make it worth it for us to collect it in the first place.
Sure. Okay, let's dive into the different aspects of that then. Could you talk more about this problem to begin with, the problem of discarded fishing gear polluting our waterways and the ocean?
Yeah, I used to work on fishing boats in Alaska. I have a master's in marine biology. And when I was working on vessels there and in my travels at various different ports, I noticed piles of nets laying around that were obviously not being used. They had moss and trees growing on and through them. So it was pretty obvious that those were just discarded and not being used. After I investigated this a little further, I realized why. And it was because the only options, and none of them were good ones, for getting rid of your gear when you were done using it were A, the landfill, B, burning it, or C, indefinitely storing it. And most likely you were paying for that storage. So I started Net Your Problem to solve this problem of not having any good choices. And now in the places where we operate, fishermen have an alternative, responsible option for end-of-life gear disposal.
And let's talk about that solution, that option that they have. What is that? How does that work?
Yeah, fishermen are a tough bunch. Most of them have a certain way of doing things that probably their father or grandfather taught them, that they might even be superstitious about, and has been the way that they do things for generations. But what we're asking them to consider is to change the way that they dispose of their gear. So in some cases, this requires taking it somewhere new. In some cases, it means spending a little bit of extra time to prepare their gear so that a recycler can accept it. In some cases, that might mean paying a little more. In some places, there is options against recycling that are free. But what we hope is that all of this is worth it in the long run, because there are many social and environmental benefits that come from recycling, the same as when you put your plastic water bottle in your blue bin at home. And thankfully, we're hearing and seeing positive signs that people are interested in this and want to do this. The first is that we have customers, which is great. And also we're hearing from fishermen that they think recycling is a better option than the landfill. They're happy to see something else being done with the nets and then being reused or turned into new products. They're concerned about resources extracted to make new plastics. And they want to keep nets out of the ground at the landfill in their small coastal communities.
Yeah, I'm very curious to dive a little bit more into how you really motivate them to take these extra steps, and also how you kind of change that behavior. Like you said, they're busy, they're grinding away, trying to make their livelihood, and this in many cases is some extra. So maybe Aaron, how do you motivate them? How do you get that behavior change to happen?
Yeah, I think from the start, our intervention is really to meet the fishermen and the communities where they are and adapt the tools that we have, and particularly the recycling expertise, pardon me, to each of the locations. So in Alaska, we were able to go to those gear yards and help sort out gear and make it as easy as possible for the fishermen to dispose of their gear. Here in Maine, it's really just working with what happens, what do fishermen do with the gear when they're done using it, when it's no longer fishing, and making sure that we have the easy disposal options for those locations.
It was interesting hearing Nicole say that there is recognition among a lot of fishermen about the problems that exist and an interest in actually taking these steps. I mean, they're out on the water, they're out in nature. They probably see a lot of the problems out there, and that's got to be a motivating factor. I really want to also hear about the impact. How has this whole effort, how has Net Your Problem done? How has it gone? What are some of your successes?
Yeah, I mean, thanks to Nicole, really in 2017 when this all started. Since then, I think we've blown past the 900,000 pound mark, and we're edging closer and closer to that 1 million pound mark of recycling gear up in Alaska and throughout the programs as well. So that's significant. That's the big project and the big impact that we've had so far. In Maine here, we're just edging over to just about a year in operation. So, and of course it was a unique year. So we have diverted about 1,800 pounds so far of rope. And I'm really looking for 2021 to set that bar and get some solid numbers and kind of watch this space.
It was a challenging year, that's for sure, in many ways. Can't have that engagement and education quite in the same way as we had in the past, and hopefully we'll be headed back to here. Thank you both for sharing information about Net Your Problem. Congratulations again on being one of the finalists. You're among a great group, so I think it's an honor to be in that 10, and really appreciate all you're doing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Travis. Thanks for having us.
Waterloop, waterloop, waterloop.